It all began with a chance meeting when 3 retro vans from 3 different parts of the country arrived in the same place at the right time. A shared love for V-dubs had brought us together, and so we set off as a convoy along the south coast of Australia. Each night we sat by the fire to share stories from the road. There were so many amazing tales from this time that we decided to share with you this video. We'll give you a quick van tour from each era and a look into how we became so attached to our old vibe machines. Let's take a step back in time to look at 3 generations of Volkswagens from the 60s, the 70s, to the late 80s, and how they evolved over the generations.
Hi, we're Lockie and Kiri. This is our van Izzy. She's a 1962 split screen, and with our 2 little kids, Riley and Alba, we've been travelling around Australia for the last couple of years. She's got a 1641 engine in her. So we've always been pretty in love with travelling since we both met, but we've been pretty obsessed with combis and travelling Australia and seeing as much as we possibly can with our little people, showing them a bit of world schooling. Yeah.
And culture and food.
Yeah.
Basically, we were travelling around the world with our son Riley, and we wanted to show him more of his backyard, so we decided to come back to Australia, fitted out the combi, and decided that that was kind of the best way to see everything and absorb as much as we possibly could.
We bought Izzy from Western Australia. She's lived her whole life over in WA, and we actually got her from a family friend. Prior to this, she was used for weddings predominantly. So we bought her and we shipped her across to the East Coast, and then we started the fit out of how we wanted to fit her out for our trip around Australia. So we built like a custom annex that comes off here, that's kind of standalone, so we can detach from that and drive away. And then we pulled out all the interior. We did like a cabinet in here.
So, but essentially it's a kitchen. We have a fridge, a sink, water tank system underneath, and then just storage. The bed is still a rock and roll bed behind us. At the moment it's got car seats in it, so it's a little bit difficult. That's why we created the annex, but it is really cozy and comfortable to sleep in there as well.
And we've got a little table that sits over here. It goes into the railing over there as well, so we can sit in here and if it's a rainy night, have dinner. But it's definitely very small. The splitties are very small, but it's enough. We get by. Izzy's, yes, as I said, she's a 1962 split screen. So she's a little bit unique. She's got these indicators. These change to 64 to the bigger ones. And then obviously the air conditioning system. The windscreen opens up, which is quite good. And yeah, that's pretty much her. We've changed a lot. We've changed like all the steering system at the front, the gearbox. She's got air shocks so we can raise and lower about 4 or 5 inches, which helps if we're really heavy. And then roof racks for all the gear that we've got to carry. I lived in England when I was 19, and there was heaps of them over there, and I just have always been super fascinated with them. So I've always been kind of like my dream car to own. But we looked for a long time before we found Izzy, and she was just perfect for what we wanted, and we knew all her history. So my favourite thing about Izzy is definitely all the smiles that she brings me, my family, and everyone who sees her.
That's a good one.
And my least favourite thing is that I don't have more combis.
I love that.
Oh,
That's awesome.
What's your
I'm going to
favourite
go
thing?
logistical.
Okay.
My favourite thing about Izzy is her windows. I love the safaris. I just feel like they're unique and they're fun. And my least favourite thing about Izzy would be just, space. Would love a bit more space. C'est combi.
We're Tia and Jordy, and this is our 1975 Volkswagen Combi called Stella.
So she's a Type 2 late bay, and we have an 1800cc factory engine. Together we're 75 vibes, so we've been travelling Australia in our van for the last couple of years, and we've got a passion for photography and videography. We're in Western Australia, and we just got obsessed, especially this one, you got obsessed with combis, right? So she was just on the internet, and there's a plumber who was selling Stella, and it wasn't a good idea to purchase at the time, but man, she was pretty. Okay, so
She was shiny.
She was shiny and like barely drivable, but shiny. And the guy sold it to us, and at the time he cried. I swear to you, he was like tearing up. If someone could love that car that much, it was a good idea.
Stella is a light bay, so she has a very friendly look to her. In the 70s, they introduced the eyelids, which is probably one of my favorite features of her face.
So when we got Stella, it was the pop top that really hooked us, I think, because we wanted to take her on the road and travel. And I think in the 70s that was a really common feature that they started to push out a lot.
It makes her so much more spacious, just especially when you're living in it.
Yeah, when you got the pop top up, it completely changes the feel of the inside of the van. The first thing we did when we got Stella was to build out the inside, because she was completely empty, right? So it was like having a blank canvas.
Because we knew we were going to travel in it full time, we were very intentional with the layout. It is spacious, and we have a slide-out drawer, so we cook outside the van.
So towards the inside of the van, we've got some storage, and that is where we keep most of our clothes and spare blankets and linen. And then the rock and roll bed is what we pull out each night to sleep on, which is like a full queen size bed actually, which is quite nice and spacious. Especially on hot nights, we don't want to touch each other. But there's storage underneath here, like where we keep our gas canisters and stuff. And then Tia made these pouches on the side, which are quite cute. That just holds all our knickknacks and books and stuff like that. And she did all the curtains herself, which was great. And then
We also have a little desk, so it's easy to work in the van.
which you use quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah, I use that a lot. My favorite thing about Stella is her little eyelids. They're cute.
Yeah, it makes her face nice and friendly.
Yeah, they're really cute. And my least favorite thing about her is probably the fact that we don't have any air conditioning. So traveling Australia can be pretty hot, and it makes it a bit exhausting being on the road sometimes.
I'd say my favourite part of Stella would be the pop top. It's like great for storage, it's great for ventilation. It's fun, like I like putting it up and down. It sort of feels more like a toy. And then my least favourite thing, this is hard. I don't think I've got a least favourite thing. Oh, we don't have a sink. I think a sink would be a game changer for us. We might do that in the future.
Yeah.
We're Loz and Alex, and we run Will and Bear, which is a hat brand that inspires people to get out on the road.
This is Marty. It's an 89 T3 Tracker Combi, and it's a four-wheel drive synchro, which is very handy. And you can notice it carries the dust very well.
So Marty used to be our full-time home/office, and he's now just our holiday home, and this is the first trip we've been on in a couple of years.
He broke down in the Flinders Ranges, and we had to get his gearbox disintegrated on us. So, and it
That was the end of full-time van life.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we got stuck in COVID and the bushfires.
We always loved Volkswagens, but we wanted something that we could carry all of our hats around in. So we used to actually tow a trailer on the back of Marty from state to state when we did markets back in the day. So we needed a four-wheel drive, and we'd been looking for a T3 Synchro for like a year. And we found this guy in Queensland. Yes, and we just flew up and we're like, we'll take it. And he looked nothing like this. He was completely white, blue inside, with like black paint everywhere where the white is.
It had gone through a very horrendous 90s
Yeah.
phase with blue sparkly paint inside, so we stripped it all down. It was pretty much just a frame, and then we painted it and then refit interiors, redid the door cards, painted inside and outside, and then redid the popped off canvas and
Rich
everything.
redid everything is what he's trying to say.
It was a big
Yeah.
project, but amazing project. The T3s, they got a bit boxier in shape. They're a little less pretty, but we love the practical look of it.
Yeah, a lot more spacious actually as well.
And
you
they-
really can stand up in there.
They also introduced the four-wheel drive then, which we love. And then this actual conversion, this is a tracker conversion which was done in Australia. It's actually quite unique because the pop top goes all the way to the front of the car. Usually they finish here,
Behind
and they've
the
got a
seat.
luggage rack but this one went all the way to the front, so that was actually an added bonus. When you sit inside it and you look up,
Yeah.
it looks heaps bigger.
It also has captain seats, so the front seats both swing around, so
I can show
it
you
feels
if
like
you
a full lounge room.
I'll get this wrong.
Here's one he prepared earlier.
Look.
Yep, wrong way. You can sit in it. It's that big. You can work like this. We originally started with the idea of doing a quick paint job on Marty, and this is exactly what he was going to look like on the outside, and we weren't going to change the inside. But a paint job that was meant to go for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, turned into a 6-month renovation, and Alex changed absolutely everything, so I'll let him tell you.
Well, normally I don't want to rag on Tracker, but like the cupboards in the back, they were a little less functional, and they covered the windows, so we kind of took that out. Like it was pretty functional, but we also wanted to update the look of it. We also wanted to put round corners on everything, so we're living in the van and it's a bit softer.
Because we lived in Marty before we did the reno, we actually knew what was going to be functional and what wasn't going to be functional. We wanted to make sure we had heaps of space. So Alex designed this kitchen cabinet to be able to come out. So we actually put a table outside and the cabinet can come out, which gives us like much more space, lots of room for activities in here. And then we've got a sink. We put a bigger sink in, and we've got our water tank actually under our car. It's like flat and under our car, so it's not taking any room up in the actual van. And in here is like our really messy cupboard for clothes. We've got like a storage section at the front that kind of just looks like it's actually not there, and there's cameras and everything underneath it. And then we've got a fridge. I really wanted a fridge, but I hated how ugly they were, so we kind of hid it behind here. And then we've got a rock and roller bed with storage underneath, so we can pull this out. And we've made some board racks so that we can take the boards with us everywhere. And back here is some cupboards for our food and some little shelves for trinkets. My favorite thing about Marty would be his pinstripes. And that's because I picked the colours and I love them. And my least favourite thing is how far away my foot is from the clutch, because I get a leg cramp every time I have to drive because my legs are too short for mine.
The thing I love about Marty is that he takes us some pretty unique places that not every car can get to, and we can live in it, which is amazing. My least favourite thing is the fact that he does brake often.
Thank you so much for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments which is your favorite and subscribe to see upcoming videos from this road trip.